So once you have acquired the shield, you will appear, you'll fall out of the window or whatever that is in the upper story of Jaggle and Pergy's house, and so Link will then hear Rusl and Uli talking across the village. You guys must have pretty good ears. But Rusl is wounded and such from battling the Boblins, I assume, from when they were trying to kidnap the children. Rusl is telling Uli to stay inside and whatnot, but she just kind of stays near the entrance. Meanwhile, Rusl is looking around quietly, being sneaky and such, and running around with a torch to see if there's any more monsters and such. So, if he sees you, he will actually attack you. You just want to avoid being seen by Rusl. You can talk to the little frogs here, and they will talk about using your senses to find sparkling places where you can dig them up. There's the final frog over here too. He's kind of funny. You talk to him and he doesn't have anything to say, so he says that he didn't think anybody would come, so he didn't think of anything to say. I think that's pretty silly. You can come over here and you can talk to the chicken, the Cucco, and it will tell you that it must be a great night to howl at the moon, because the moon is full. But then he goes on to say that aren't you one of the villagers that just got transformed into a wolf? And he says, haha, just kidding. So little does he know how right he is. If you want to use your senses to see the shiny spots, you'll see that there's actually a spot right up against the house. And this is kind of training, because later on you're going to have to enter a lot of buildings later on in the game by doing this. However, you want to use it to get inside the building. You want to just simply press down on the D-pad to dig. You'll appear in this little dirt area next to the house. Anyway, so you want to go over and just walk over to the couch, and you press A to pick up the sword. It's just lying there. So this is the Ordon Sword, and Midna will then congratulate you on getting both of them, and she'll tell you to come all the way back to the woods where you transformed. So she's talking about the entrance to Faron Woods, so we're going to head all the way back there. There's actually one more thing we're going to do along the way. We just want to head back through Ordon Village. There's nothing less that we have to do here, so you're just going to run right through this area. Once again, you want to avoid Rusl. He will attack you if he sees you. He's pretty easy to avoid, too. You can simply run away from him if he does see you. It's not that big a deal. But yes, he will attack you, so you don't really want to get hit by him. So now we are in the Ordon Woods or whatnot, and you want to head forward, and as you are passing by the Ordon Spring, you'll hear a voice that calls out to you and tells you, says, wait, you want to come into my spring. So head on inside, and this is the one of the spirits of light, and it'll talk to you for a moment and says that you've been transformed by the power of the shadow, and it says to come forward. And here a wall of Twilight will surround you, and these guys, this barrier, will keep you from leaving this part, so you are forced to battle this little shadow being. This is the same shadow beings that we saw in that clip, that movie that Zelda was showing us. That portal will open and it will drop the shadow being down. You can attack it by swiggling your Wiimote back and forth to smack it, or you can also press A to attack it and then fight it repeatedly by pressing A. And so that's probably the faster way to defeat them, and probably a lot easier too. Once you've defeated it, then the portal above you will then change to a blue color, and this means that you have gained this portal. And there'll be more about that later. The portals actually become very useful later on. However, there isn't really much we can do about it right now. So anyways, the light will then return to the Ordon province, and so the Spirit of Light will then be powered up, and how this works is that there are shadow beings. They come and they steal the light of the light spirits that are in each province, and that's what the light spirits will prevent each area from being succumbed to the Twilight. So if you defeat the enemies here, then you will restore the light to the light spirits, and then light will return to each province. So this is the first Spirit of Light. This is Ordona, and I guess it's a girl because it ends in an A, but that's, I don't know, it's translated from Japanese, so I don't know if that's necessarily true. In any case, I'll be calling it a she. So she looks kind of like a ram, or she looks very much like one of the Ordon goats, really. So I guess she's a goat. She will explain what I just told you, that there are 4 light spirits. They were created by the gods to protect Hyrule, and so she is the first of 4. And she once again explains that the shadow beasts, they seal their light and keep them away. So next, she will go on to talk about it, and you'll see a little scene, and you'll see one of the other light spirits here right in a moment. And this is the spirit of Faron here. There's each of the light spirits are named, well, at least the provinces are named after the spirits, the light spirits that guard each area. So there's 4 provinces. There's Ordon, there's Faron, and there's Eldin and Laneru province. So they're the names of the 4 light spirits. So that was Faron. That was the next one. We're actually going to go meet him relatively soon. Ordona goes on to talk about the world of light, that it fell into the hands of the king who rules the Twilight, and so now Twilight is covering the whole land. So we are going to be saving the light of the 3 other spirits, the 3 other spirits of light throughout this game, and that's pretty typical of the Zelda series to have these sets of 3. It's an ongoing trend in the Zelda titles, where, like in A Link to the Past, there's the 3 pendants of virtue that you gathered before you could tackle the rest of the game. In Ocarina of Time, there's the 3 spiritual stones. In The Wind Waker, there's the 3 pearls of the goddesses that you had to gather before you could go to the Tower of the Gods. And so onward, that just is an ongoing theme throughout the Zelda titles. There's 3 things and then followed by 5 or so other things or whatever that are progressed the rest of the game. So Ordona goes on to say that you are the chosen one or whatnot, that you are the one that has the power to go and restore the light to each of the provinces. Because you turn into a wolf and you don't turn into a spirit, you are probably the only one that is actually capable of doing this. So Ordona goes on to explain that she can't return you to your Hylian form. You are stuck as a wolf right now because you lost your light in the Faron woods, in a sense. That was the wall of Twilight that you got absorbed into, where you turned into a wolf. So if you can restore light to Faron, then you can get your Hylian form back. So you will then regain control of Link. That is pretty much it for this chapter, actually. So we're going to be heading into the Faron Woods, and we'll be tackling that in the next chapter. So at this point, you can save if you like, but then if you want to enter the Wall of Twilight, you want to talk to Minda, will pop up here, and she will ask you if you are ready. When you finally say that you are, then she will pull you into the Wall of Twilight, and she will actually have a giant hand of sorts that comes out of her helmet piece, sort of, and it will grab you and pull you into the Twilight.